we know that apprenticeships are a really important driver of social mobility. Improving people's skills and getting into work are probably two of the single most important things you can do, and apprenticeships of course are jobs and jobs with training both on and off the job. So to that extent, extending apprenticeship offer is a really important part of extending social mobility. Now, it's very much a partnership between the employer, the individual, those providing training, because ultimately government can't control employers' recruitment decisions, but what government can do, and organisations like Disability Rights UK, is really ensure that employers have support, guidance, information to help them make informed recruitment decisions, and also ensure that people considering an apprenticeship have really good information and support to access the opportunities that are there. And I've just shared there some of the barriers that people declaring a learning difficulty or disability themselves report as potential barriers to getting into apprenticeship. Very important themes, I think, coming through from individuals embarking on apprenticeship about awareness, about a flexible offer that's tailored to individuals' needs, and about ongoing support and preparation. Employers, some barriers around awareness, certainly, and certainly also some barriers which I think is for government and government agencies to tackle around the complexity of funding arrangements, and providers a similar set of issues. So just to sort of describe the current direction of travel, we're at quite an important moment, certainly in terms of apprenticeship funding arrangements, where from next April a new apprenticeship levy will be introduced. The levy will be payable by all employers with a pay bill in excess of £3 million a year, and it will be levied at 0.5% of total pay bill. And we expect that levy to generate some £3 billion a year UK-wide for apprenticeships by 2020, and that funding will be ring-fenced. So that new system comes in from next April, and we're currently seeking feedback, and that includes arrangements for younger apprentices and what sort of funding should be available specifically to support younger apprentices, and associated with that apprentices with an education and healthcare plan, care leavers, where the proposal which government put out back in the summer was that for an apprentice with an education and healthcare plan, if an employer took an apprentice on, they would be entitled to an additional £1,000, as would the training provider, to reflect the additional costs of additional support. Now, that's a proposal. The government's seeking feedback on whether that's an appropriate level of support. Touched earlier on traineeships, and I think we see traineeships as a really important programme feeding into apprenticeships in terms of some more targeted support for people, particularly young people, who perhaps aren't yet ready to enter the labour market and aren't yet equipped to start an apprenticeship with a reasonable prospect of success. And I think it's in everyone's interest to ensure that if someone starts an apprenticeship, they have the best chance we can give them of completing it successfully. So traineeships are really aimed at developing some of those skills employers look for, quite basic skills in some cases, which help support people who perhaps have no experience of the world of work to get familiar and comfortable with a working environment. Many of you will know that last summer Paul Maynard MP led a task force on apprenticeships for people with learning difficulties and disabilities, and that task force reported over the summer with a range of different recommendations, all of which were accepted by the government. Maynard made some important recommendations around our approach to functional skills on English and maths, and ensuring that some of the requirements for functional English and maths don't throw up unintentional barriers to people with disabilities succeeding in an apprenticeship. And so we're looking to flex the English and maths requirements so that it's tailored in such a way that people with learning difficulties or disabilities can still participate in an apprenticeship and succeed in the apprenticeship, and not find that not achieving a particular qualification acts as a barrier.